Welcome guys. So this tutorial we're going to be talking about variables and data types. Yes, I'm so excited. We're making significant progress on this course. We're going to be talking about variables and data types. Variables are very important in JavaScript because it helps us do a lot of things. Okay, so first let's just get started. With no further ado, let's just get started. So I'm going to remove the external link to my JavaScript file, and so I'll be doing almost everything inline. So what I'm going to do is first is we need to learn how to define variables. What are variables? Okay, variables are like should I say placeholders or containers that save data for us, yes, throughout our code, and are subjected to change. Okay, so they save data for us throughout our code and are subjected to change. So how do we define variables in JavaScript? We define variables in JavaScript by using the keyword var. So we have var and we say name, and the next thing we're going to put is the value. Okay, so but we want to do this inside the script tag. Always remember, it should be done inside the script tag. And if you notice, this outside the script tag looks like the gray color, and in the script tag looks multicolored. Okay, so if you're using external style sheet, you just come to your app.js file and you place this in it. Okay, so but we won't be needing this. We'll be needing the internal one. So we define again with the var keyword as a short acronym for variable. So var, the name of the variable, and I'm using name for instance, equal to. Now the next stage is the equal to is going to be the value of the variable. So say I want to write Emmanuel, I would write it in quotes. I'll write it in quotes. Okay, Emmanuel, and this indicates a string value. Indicates a string value. I could either write it in single quotes or in double quotes. I could either write it in single or in double quotes, like so. And say I could say this is name 2. Say I want to define another variable. I could say age, and I could say age should be 30 years, and I could define more, like say should I say sex should be male, and this time around I'm going to use male capital letter all true. Now there's something you should know, that if you check all of this true, you see that they all have a yellow color, something like a yellow color, and the color, it has this kind of dependent on your code editor, so on your code editor and your design. So it indicates for brackets, and the design I'm choosing indicates yellow color indicates string. Okay, so after string we have other data types such as the integer. Okay, so I'm going to try to define a variable called var, should I say phone number, phone, which is a phone, and I'm going to say 09098200893, and sure, that's my number. Okay, now watch this out. I have all of this and it's in green color, while all of this is in yellow color, which means that this is an integer, while this is a word, this is a string. Okay, so apart from that, we have a Boolean value. Okay, Boolean values are true or false value. So I could just say teen, so am I a teen? I could write just true, so true, and there's also false. Okay, so and these are the way we define variables in JavaScript. And if I had a number before my variable name, it is bad practice, and you see definitely the color changes to something else. So I don't have a number, I don't have the sign, I don't have the symbol, I don't have anything before should I say a text in defining my variable name. And besides that, I don't add a dash. I could use underscore, or I could use camel case, which is D, the capital D. So it's kind of called the camel case. I don't have a dash again. I use underscore. Okay, so And how do we output variables on our screen? In the last video, I introduced us to the console element tool or the inspect element tool, and to do so, well, we would use the console.log function to output data of the variable on our screen. So what I mean is that we are just going to copy the name of the variable. Let me use age so we're more clear on this. So I'm going to type console.log and I'll put the variable name inside, just like I did for text, just like I did in the last video. So if I Ctrl S this and come to the page we are, I'm just going to open Show in Explorer and double click on this. Okay, so if I Ctrl Shift I to hit on the inspect element tool and go to the console tool, I'm going to see 30 years. So it says this is the value I have in my variable. Okay, and if I want to see value for phone, I just have to duplicate this age and put the phone in it, and if I Ctrl Shift arrow, I am going to see the phone number it has. Okay, so don't just mind the error you're getting up here, they are not relevant in this context. Okay, so let's just console log this guy for instance to see what it would give us. So I want to duplicate this and copy thing, just thing then, and Ctrl S. So if I Ctrl Shift R, I'm going to see true. Now notice the color of Boolean values and integer values compared to string values. Okay, they are kind of different. So I just want you to remember this. String values are placed in single quotes or double quotes. Integers are number, they're just numbers. There should be no text, no symbol. If I add a S here, you see the color is kind of a bit different. And if I add the T, color has been different, so it must be this. I could add +234 is still me distorting the integer, and a symbol is distorting the integer. +234 would better be regarded to as a string. Okay, so the difference between this and this is that JavaScript uses type coercion, which means it could concatenate any string or any integer together, but in a way. Like for instance, if I say I want to concatenate, that means add. When I mean concatenate, I mean add. Add Emmanuel and 30 years together. I just have to pick the name. Let me duplicate this. Pick the name and use the word plus and age. Okay, so if I come to my console tool and I'll see Emmanuel 30 years. Okay, so it kind of try to add them together. But in other case, if it's actually numeric integers, if it's actually numeric, that's if it's an integer, it's going to actually do the mathematics for us. Like for instance, I'm duplicate this for emphasis purpose, and I would say 2 plus 3. Okay, 2 plus 3, and if I Control save that, go to my browser and reload, I'm going to see 5. So what is the possible difference between this? That this is an integer, it's a number. It knows it's a number because I did not wrap it in this in this string. So what does it do? It adds them up together. Okay, I didn't add it in the string, neither do I add any symbol before it. Okay, so it adds them together. But if it's a string, it tries to just concatenate. Okay, it tries to put them together. Okay, so just for emphasis purpose, I could concatenate a space to the name and the age. So we have a kind of like a space between Emmanuel and 30 years right here. So how I do that is just still almost the same thing. I want to define a variable called space just for emphasis purpose. So I'll define a variable called space, and the value is going to be just empty. Okay, it's just going to be a space. So next I will say is I wanted to concatenate name plus space plus age for me. Okay, so if I Control save that and check, I have Emmanuel 30 years. So I could come here and I could define another variable called maybe is, and and the value I'm just going to put is, okay? So this is crazy, but it's just for illustration purpose. I know we don't define variables this long, and if it's bad practice anyways, but it's just for FSC purpose. So next, I'm going to put the plus, and we have is. So namespace is an age. Okay, so I will just reload that, and I have Emmanuel is 30 years. Okay, so I could then concatenate this to this and just leave a space. Okay, so let's check out what it says. Okay, so Emmanuel is 30 years old. Okay, so I hope you get the point. Again, just as a quick recap, how do we define variables? We define variables by what? Using the keyword var and the name of the variable equal to then the value of the variable. The value could either be a string, an integer, or a boolean. A boolean is a true or false value. A boolean returns a true or false value, and we're going to check a lot on that in the future. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you've not subscribed yet to this channel, if you stumbled on this thing, please just hit the subscribe button, and I'll thank you a whole bunch.